Hello Pisgah family. I hope this video finds you happy and healthy this Memorial Day weekend, as this is your week update. There's a lot going on at Pisgah. There's a lot going on in the world right now as things are beginning to reopen and life is beginning to get back, well, I guess to a new normal. And as a result, we're having to make a lot of decisions around here, as I'm sure that you're already aware. In fact, I know you're aware of it because 130 of you responded to last week's survey. That is an impressive response to a survey at a church, because usually we'll get maybe a handful of responses, but this week y'all really stepped up, and so many of you told us exactly how you're doing and how you're feeling about all of this stuff that's going on. I did want to share a couple of things with you from that survey. First of all, the responses were all over the place, as I'm sure you're probably not surprised, because our thoughts and feelings on the situation are all over the place. But we did have some pretty major consistencies that I want you to be aware of. First of all, while 23.1% of our congregation surveyed said that they would open the doors today, the vast majority, 76.9%, said that it's not time yet. Now, of course, when that time would be, those responses were all over the map, but it was pretty consistent that we're not ready just yet. Also, 95.4 people said that when we come back, there's going to be some changes. Now, what those changes are going to be, again, those answers were all over the map, but we are all, it was very consistent that changes are going to need to happen in order for us to come back safely. As a result, we shared the entire survey responses with the Reopen Pisgah Task Force. And in fact, this week we have a very special guest on the week update, and that is Virginia Bishop, who's going to be sharing with you how exactly the task force is going to be making the decision to reopen.
Hello, Pisgah family. I'm Virginia Bishop, and I'm one of the nurses that's serving on the COVID-19 task force to reopen Pisgah Lutheran Church. We wanted to share with you what information we're looking at when we make the determination when it's best to open our church. First, we're looking at the numbers of increased cases of COVID-19 in the state of South Carolina. Then we are looking at our local levels. We're looking at that by zip codes. We're looking at 29054, 29070, 29072, and 29073. During this time, we have noticed there has been anywhere from 1 to 10 folks that have been infected with the COVID-19 virus. So we want to make sure, we want to look and see, since some of our non-essential businesses have been opened up in the past 2 weeks, we want to make sure that we look at the data in the next 2 weeks, 14 days, to see if there has been an increase in the infection or spread of COVID-19. We want to make sure that it will be safe for our people to come back into our church. When we come back into our church, it's going to look differently. Right now, we are looking at potentially having a phase 2. Phase 2, there can be no more assembly of more than 50 people. The CDC has stated that the most common spread of this virus is person to person. But even though our news has documented yesterday that it is less likely to spread the disease by touching an inanimate object like a pew, but just think, if someone does sneeze or cough on their hand, they touch the pew, you then touch that pew and put it to your face or your eyes, your mouth, or your nose, then the potential is there for you to acquire the COVID-19 virus. We also want to make sure it's very safe. We are putting some protocols, hoping to put some protocols into place. We are discussing that as we go now, looking at what our church will look like and how we can keep everyone safe. So please be patient with us as we are prayerfully determining what's going to happen with Pisgah. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia, for taking the time to make that video to help us understand better. I also want to let you all know that we had two additions to the task force this week. Two other nurses, one of whom is Brenda Clamp and the other is Jill Maccabee. So thanks to those two ladies for stepping up and sharing their gifts to show God's love. I want to remind you of our worship this Sunday at 10 o'clock and Wednesday at 7 o'clock. That's when we all go live. And if you can't make it then, you can watch it any other time, wherever and whenever you are. I wanted to let you know that this Wednesday night we'll be looking at our fifth sign of living, and so please tune in for that one. This coming week we're going to be preparing for Holy Communion because the next two Sundays we'll be having it. They'll be Pentecost Sunday and Holy Trinity Sunday. And so since they're high holy days in the church, we're going to be having communion both of those days. And so we're asking you to pick up your communion supplies this week. The pickup times will be Thursday from 10 to 11:30 and Saturday from 10 to 11:30. And as always, if those times don't suit you, then you can come by anytime that the office is open. Just let us know so we'll make somebody's here. And we'll probably have some time just before the worship service, maybe from 9 to 9:45 on Sunday morning for those of you who, well, are kind of like me and you like to do it last minute. And so we'd love for you to come by and pick it up, not just for 1 week, but for both weeks this time. If you're planning to stop by at a time that's not Thursday or Saturday, however, you may not want to stop by on Monday as our office will be closed for Memorial Day. So like many of you, our staff can take some much needed rest from all of the things that have been going on and spend some time with their families. Lastly, I want to let you know an announcement from our preschool. On June the 1st, our preschool is going to be reopening to a limited number of children and with many safety precautions being put in place. Now, some of you may be wondering why it is that our preschool is opening and yet our worship services are not yet opening. Well, there are several reasons for that. The primary one is that children are not a high risk for the COVID-19 virus, while many of our members are at high risk. And so while some of you would say, well, those folks can stay home, let's be honest, many of those folks won't stay home because they want to come to worship as much as everyone else does. And also, because we are giving this community service of our preschool, many of our parents are having to go back to work. And if they can't find childcare for their child, they're going to have to find it elsewhere. And so the preschool committee felt that it was in our best interest and their best interest to begin holding summer classes on June the 1st. So please keep that program and all the teachers and parents and students in your prayers as they begin this process of reopening. That's all the announcements that we have for this week. As always, I want you to know that my prayers are with you all, and I look forward to seeing you in person just as soon as it's safe and we can do it. God bless you.